Okay, good afternoon student. I hope you all are well. So, in my previous class I have completed the 5th chapter from your English textbook, The Alien Planet. I have completed the chapter. Today I will be starting with the 6th chapter from your English textbook named The Browning Version, written by Terence Rattigan. Open your 6th chapter from your English textbook. Your chapter name is The Browning Version, written by Terence Rattigan. Open your book and just follow the one act play this is. So actually this Browning version, this is a short extract taken from the book, the Browning version. This is a scene set in a school. Okay, this scene, this act, it is set in a school, and we will get some characters here: Frank, Croc Harris, and Taplow. So we have to know about these characters. So the whole scene has been set in a school. Okay, and Frank and Croc Harris, they are actually teachers in a school. Frank is a young teacher and Croc Harris, he is a aged teacher in a school. So both are teachers in the same school. Taplow, who is a boy of 16 years, who has come to the school in order to do extra work for Crocker Harris. Okay, why he had come to school? Taplow, who is a young boy of 16 years, he arrives at the school. Why? Because he had to do some extra work for the middle-aged teacher named Crocker Harris. But the latter has not yet arrived. So when Taplow reached the school, he found Crocker Harris had not yet arrived in the school. He had not reached the school. And Frank, who is the another teacher that school, finds Taplow waiting for Crocker Harris. Okay, so this is the scene, and the scene it is set in a school where one student is waiting for the teacher. Another teacher entered and he found that the student, he was waiting for that teacher for doing some extra work in that school. So this is the background set in this act. So I will be starting with this scene. Frank, who is Frank? Frank is the young teacher of that school. He started conversation with the student named Taplow, who is 16 years age. Do I know you? So Frank saw Taplow and asked him his name. Taplow, no sir. Taplow replies that he doesn't know his name. Frank, what's your name? Frank asks Taplow what is his name. Taplow replied that his name is Taplow. Frank, Taplow, no I don't. You are not a scientist, I gather. So Frank asked Taplow whether he was studying in science group or not. Okay, so he asked him, you are not a scientist, I gather. Taplow, no sir. So Taplow answers and talks with Frank, I am still in the lower 5th. So Taplow replies that he is still studying in the 5th standard, lower 5th standard. I cannot specialize until next term. So until and unless I am getting my result, I cannot able to specialize. That means Taplow replied that he could not able to specialize in any subject until and unless he was getting his result. That is to say, if I have got my remove all right, remove is actually a division, a grade in British schools. Okay, the remove is actually a grade, okay, a pass mark or grade that is used in British school. So until and unless he is getting his division, he would not be promoted and he could not able to specialize on any subject. Okay, Frank, don't you know if you have got your remove? So Frank asked him whether he got the remove or not, whether he came to know about his result or not. If he would not get any result, then he would not able to specialize on any subject. So Frank, the young teacher, he was asking Taplow that whether he got the remove or not, that means whether he got his result or not. Taplow, no sir, Mr. Crocker Harris does not tell us the results like other masters. So Taplow replied that Mr. Crocker Harris, he did not reveal the result just like the other masters. Okay, Frank, why not? Frank asked Taplow that why this middle-aged teacher, Mr. Crocker Harris, he had not declared the remove, why he had not declared the result. Taplow, well, you know what he is like, sir. Taplow replied that he might know how is this Mr. Crocker Harry is. So he was a very strict teacher and he would not declare any result before the date. Okay, Frank, I believe there is a rule that form results should only be announced by the headmaster on the last day of the term. So Frank replied and he said that it's supposed to be a rule that form the result, that results should be announced by the headmaster on the last day of the term. So it is the rule. Taplow, yes, but who else pay attention to it? So Taplow said that nobody just pay any attention. So before the result out, everyone used to declare the marks except Mr. Crocker Harris. So Mr. Crocker Harris, he did not reveal the division of the student because he used to follow the rules very strictly in the school. What was the rule? The rule is that the result should be announced by the headmaster on the last day of the term. Frank, I admit. Frank admitted that he also doesn't do it. But there is no criterion. So you have got to wait until tomorrow to know your fate. Have you? So Frank replied that if he wanted to know his result, then he should wait until tomorrow to know his result. Taplow, yes sir. So to this, Taplow replied, Taplow agrees with it. So if until and unless he is not getting the result, he would not or he did not come to know about his division whether he had been promoted or not. Frank, supposing the answer is favorable, what then? So the teacher asks the student, so if the result, if he would get pass, if he would be promoted, then what subject he would take? Taplow, oh science sir, of course. So Taplow replied that he would like to take the subject science. Frank, yes, we get all the slackers. Slackers means lazy students. So Frank tells that they have some lazy students in the science group. Taplow, protestingly. So Taplow protested and clarifies, I am extremely interested in science, sir. So when the teacher asked him that what subject or what stream he would like to take, Taplow replied that he would like to take science. Then Frank said that all the slackers, all the lazy students used to learn this science group. Taplow then replied by he protested against this and he clarifies that he was extremely interested in science and that's why he wanted to take this subject. Frank, are you? I am not. not at least in the science I have to teach. So Frank clarifies that he is not interested in science which he has to teach in the school. Taplow: well, anyway, sir, it is a good deal more exciting than this muck. Muck means useless. M-U-C-K, muck means useless, indicating his book. So Taplow was holding a book, and he said that he thinks that this book that he was holding or reading, that this book, it is useless to Taplow, which he is currently reading. Frank: what is this muck? Taplow: Aeschylus, sir, the Agamemnon. So when Frank asked him about the book, what is this useless book? What is the name of this useless book? Taplow replied that this book is written by Aeschylus. Who was Aeschylus? Aeschylus, actually, he was an author. He was an ancient Greek tragedian, and he was also known as the father of tragedy. Okay, he was also known as, Aeschylus was also known as, well known as the father of tragedy. He was actually an ancient Greek tragedian, and he wrote the book The Agamemnon. And your considered view is that the Agamemnon is muck? So Frank asked Taplow that whether he was thinking, whether his view was that this book was a muck or not. That means this book he was reading, it is a useless book. Okay. Taplow: well, no, sir, I don't think the play is muck. So he replied that the play Agamemnon, written by Aeschylus, it is not useless. Exactly. I suppose in a way it is rather a good plot. So the plot of this play Agamemnon, it is about a story of a king. Okay. So it is actually, it is not a muck. The plot is very interesting. It is rather, it has rather a good plot. Really, a wife murdering her husband and all that. He further shares his view about this book, and he also gave information that the plot about this book is actually a wife murdering her husband and like all that. I only meant the way it is taught to us. So why this book was a muck according to Taplow? Because the way it was taught to them by their teacher. Just a lot of Greek words strung together. So how they were taught? The way they were taught, like just the teacher was teaching them a group of words which were combined together and 50 lines if you get them wrong. So the way they were taught this book, it was useless according to Taplow. Frank: you sound a little bitter, Taplow. So when Frank found that Taplow was criticizing the book, Frank told him that he was sounding a little bitter. That means he was sounding a little bitter against Mr. Crocker Harris. Might be he was teaching that book. Taplow: I am rather, sir. Frank: kept in here. Kept in means staying in a place for a long time for punishment. So Frank asked Taplow why he had come to the school, whether he got any punishment or not. Taplow: no, sir, extra work. So Taplow replied to Frank that why he had come to school, why he was staying here, because to do extra work. Frank: extra work on the last day of the school? So Frank got very suspicious about Taplow, and he asked whether he had come for the real reason of completing the extra work on the last day of the school or not. He thought that Taplow had got some punishment, and that's why he had come to stay in the school. But Taplow replied that he had come there in the school to do some extra work for this Crocker Harris, who was also a teacher in that school. So I have completed up to page number 51. If you have any doubt, please do it clear. If you are having any doubt, please do it clear. Okay. So read it at home. Okay, next day I will continue with this chapter.